Hey guys, welcome back to Dynasty Football Live. Today, we're bringing you here it comes, the bust. The big boys who you think are going to be special, but they just can't get you over the hump. They ain't going to get you there. We're going to try to prevent you from making that mistake right here in this video. But you got to listen, okay? Got to listen to Dynasty Football Live because we know what we're doing. At least we think we know what we're doing. But yeah, guys, here we go. This is our 2023 all bust team. We're going to give it to you how we feel. They just ain't going to cut it. We ain't going to cut it this year. So without saying anything else, Manny, where are we going with our first bust quarterback?
Well, at the quarterback position, I'm going to go ahead and sorry, Laura, but I'm going to go with Dak Prescott. I think it's not about the injuries or the interceptions, although he tends to kind of go on runs. You know, he either has 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and then he'll have a game with, 4 interceptions. So I'm not even talking about that aspect of it. I think he's going to have a better year than he had last year when it comes to turnovers and definitely injuries. I think it's more of the scheme. And even though they have, weapons like Cooks and CeeDee Lamb and Gallup, and I think Gallup is actually might actually kind of be a low-key sleeper just because last year he struggled, but he was coming back from a tough injury. I think the problem is the way the coach wants to run the ball a little more, slow down the game a little more, let their defense rest up so they can make the plays they have been making. The last couple of years, they've gotten it better and better the last 2 years, and I think ultimately the only way to kind of continue to succeed on the defensive side of the ball is to have them be able to rest and slow down the game. And I think that's what Mike McCarthy wants to do, is to slow down the game, run the ball a little more, and let the defense kind of make the plays or win the games for them. Also, Kellen Moore is no longer the offensive coordinator, so the strategy or the mindset or the play calling is going to be a little bit different. So I think it's going to be a little more balanced than it had been. It's not going to be Dak throwing it 50 or 40 times a game. So for me, Dak Prescott.
There you go. All right, man. So for me, man, guy, he went from a great situation to not so hot situation. I definitely don't like their head coach. I think this organization is on a downward spiral to get the number 1 pick. I think that, they're trying anything and everything they do, or everything they can do to find someone at this position that they can believe in, which I don't think it's a bad situation. I just think they could have drafted a quarterback this year and been in a better situation. Mm-hmm. For me, that's the Las Vegas Raiders and going and getting Jimmy G. I'm sorry, Jimmy G, but your playoff run is over. You had really, really, really elite talent over there in San Francisco. And, you had a really good head coach when you were with, Tom and the gang over there in New England. But for me, the buck stops here, buddy. You've made your money. But unfortunately, you're getting exposed here on Dynasty Football Live. That pretty smile can't save you now. So for me, it's Jimmy Garoppolo. He does have Devontae Adams and, with Josh Jacobs possibly holding out that running back stables. Zamir White, might come in and do damage, but going from the NFL's leading rusher behind you to a sophomore who has maybe 50 touches, if that, is pretty scary. And then Devontae Adams, obviously he's special, but I think he wants out. I don't think he wants to be there anymore. But hey, guys, Jimmy Garoppolo is my all-bust quarterback for 2023.
Okay, next up we have our running backs. And I think it's kind of this is going to be maybe a little surprising for some of you, but I think for me, it's going to be Kenneth Walker. Obviously, we saw what he did last year. He was amazing. He played a lot better I know he was going to be good. I didn't think it was going to be as good as he was last year. But
Yeah,
I think the fact that they got another running back just like him in the second round. I know they like running the ball, but there's not enough ball to go around. And I think he's going to take a step back. I don't know if he's going to be exactly the go-to guy, the three down back.
yeah.
You know, Charbonnet can catch the ball really well, so that he's going to definitely lose. If he had many receptions, he's going to lose some of that production. He didn't really have that many except for this one game. But yeah, for me, Kenneth Walker is going to be my RB1 bust just because I just don't think he's going to be what he was last year or better than last year for sure.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that. You know, K9, I don't know, man. It could go either way here, man. But yeah, definitely did not look good them drafting Zach Charbonnet when they drafted him. So they've I don't know if they've lost faith in him or they know something that we don't. But that pick did not look good in the dynasty community.
Yeah,
So a lot of people with K9 kind of probably got pissed off, but I
yeah,
don't feel bad for you because I had Tyler Algier, so that
yeah.
one really stung. So
No, I mean it happened to me. I mean, obviously Carter didn't do what K9 did, but they drafted Brees Hall, so
yeah,
and
yeah,
we've all been through it.
can get your heart broke every year. So
Yeah.
it's always like a Russian roulette when the draft happens. So for me, guys, I'm actually going to go to somebody who has a new home. I know me and you discussed our picks, but I'm actually changing one of those right here. And it's going to be David Montgomery for me. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is too much sauce for David Montgomery to succeed in Detroit. I
Mhm.
think David Montgomery is a serviceable back. I just don't think with the kind of talent that Jahmyr Gibbs brings to an offense that you're going to be able to keep that off of the field for very long. Once we find out really what he's got, I think it's a wrap. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be in there 1 through 3, and you're going to have a Bijan Robinson type running back here in Detroit. So for me, the number one bust is David Montgomery at running back for me this year.
No, that's a great pick, and I agree with you. And I think, the one of the things that's even more important to go along with what you're saying about him being a bust is the fact that he's already 26. He's going on his second contract, and we know what happens to running backs in their second contract. So, unfortunately, yeah, and Gibbs is just too talented.
Yeah.
Um, for me, with my second running back, uh, man, I was kind of excited about this guy coming out, but dude, it's like Jekyll and Hyde. Like I don't know what's happening with with the Rams coaching staff and their decision to play him or not play him or give him a lot of carries and him being just I don't know what's going on there. Is extremely confusing how he's going to be used from day to day. And even though he's sort of kind of solidified himself kind of as the RB1 there, um, I don't know, man. I think that Zach Evans, even though he's just a 6th round pick, I think he's better than Akers personally. Um, I don't know. He's had too many chances and he just hasn't capitalized. So for me, Cam Akers is my RB2 bust.
I like it. Yeah, man. I've never really been high on Cam Akers, man. He can have flashes of greatness, but man, I don't know, man. I was just like not impressed at all. So, yeah, I agree here with the Cam Akers pick for sure. For me, I'm gonna go I'm gonna go the Denver Broncos, and I just don't think I think this is Javonte Williams last year of the uber hype that he received coming out. The running back looks great. He's a good looking running back, right? Perfectly built. Man, he just, he did suffer an injury. The offense there is more designed for me to pass with Russell Wilson. You've got Sutton, you've got Judy, and I think they really want to get Judy more involved than he's been. I think that, having Sean Payton there, they're going to throw the ball a lot more. That's just my opinion. And Javonte Williams now has Samaje Perine breathing down his neck, which he did amazing last year, filling in for Joe Mixon when he was hurt. So, man, guys, be careful with Javonte Williams. This is one that it could go either way. I'm not gonna lie. He could blow up this year or he could bust, but I'm leaning. Going off of how that offense looked last year, I'm leaning towards bust. That's what I'm feeling. So Javonte Williams is my RB2 bust for this year.
All right. Yeah. No, I completely agree. There's too many questions, especially his ACL injury is not it's not the same as Brees Hall. His was a little bit more serious. I think more ligaments were involved. So definitely a lot of questions. And even though he did flash before, it's just there's too many question marks.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, sorry, were you gonna say something?
No, I was just agreeing with what you said. I was saying, yeah, Javonte Williams, when there are question marks in Dynasty, that should bring up an immediate red flag, and especially if they're in your starting lineup, that's just too risky for me to start someone like that would or pay a premium price for someone that could end up doing basically nothing for your lineup. So
Yeah. All right. A wide receiver for me. I hope this isn't the case because in a turn of events, I made a trade, which I actually got this guy, Mike Evans. Um, I'm concerned. I mean, honestly, for me, he could either have a great season or not so great. He has that record or potential record about 1,000 yards consecutive seasons or whatever. I'm a little worried about Baker Mayfield. I'm a little worried about even if it's not Baker Mayfield, Trask for example. I'm just worried about his ability to get the ball, downfield, which has been his bread and butter. With that said, they are projected to be one of the worst teams. So if that's the case, he may get a lot of garbage time stats, which points are points. But I think for me, Mike Evans is definitely on bus watch for me. Even though I own him, I hope it's not the case, but bus watch for Mike Evans.
I like that, man. I don't like it because Mike Evans just like he's never like let. I've never seen him, have a season like he had last year, man. So it was surprising to me. I think it all boiled down to them not really having, a solid quarterback there. I mean, well, Tom Brady was there, but he was at the end of his career. He was going through a divorce. It was a bad year to really, you know, display Mike Evans. So for me, I think he has somewhat of a bounce back year. So maybe we're seeing a little bit different here, but hopefully for you, you're on my side of the story, Yeah, but yeah, I can kind of see him having an off year just because of the quarterback situation. So good pick here. For me, without a doubt, I'm going to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and my number one bust is Deontay Johnson at wide receiver. He flashed, like a flash in the pan last year. You could really start seeing George Pickens, the legend himself, start to flash and really take over that wide receiver room. So I think that I'm going with Deontay Johnson here. Me being a Pickens owner, I am a little biased, but guys, there's no denying that George Pickens, if you have two sets of eyes, he is a supremely better wide receiver in all phases of the game. I mean, the guy has better hands, better blocking. He's better at one-on-one jump balls. Like he's the alpha in that wide receiver room. So for me,
Yeah.
Deontay Johnson, them adding Allen Robinson. So, guys, it's not looking pretty for Deontay Johnson owners this year, in my opinion. So, wide receiver one bust for me is Deontay Johnson.
All right. Yeah, I completely agree with that pick. I think it's kind of tough when you have kind of that talent that's added to your offense. And even though he broke out at one point, different quarterback, different situation, different. All right, I think my wide receiver 2 guy for me is going to be Debo Samuel. It might be a little surprising, but I think being 27, I know for a receiver that's not usually that old, but he's being used as a running back a lot, so that's a lot of wear and tear there. To me, he looked a little heavy, maybe a little out of shape last year. I don't know. I think for me, most of you may not agree with me, but I think Debo Samuel's going to have a down year, especially with Ayuk kind of coming into the zone a little bit last year. So we'll see what happens with Debo Samuel.
Yeah, I agree, man. Debo, I think the hype is over, man. I think he had one good year, and last year you saw the decline. So, yeah, I agree with you on Debo here. For me, my wide receiver 2 is just, guys, I don't like small wide receivers. Sometimes they do great things, but man, this guy scares me a little bit more than others, considering his size. I'm going Jordan Addison here, and this is strictly off of average draft position. Man, he's going pretty high in rookie drafts this year, and I think when you have an alpha like Justin Jefferson, Randy Moss Jr. on the other side of you, and then you got T.J. Hawkinson, and you have a new running back that they want to see. I want to see what they got in Madison. They let Cook go, so I don't think he cracks 1,000, and I think he ends up getting hurt. So just on his size, man, like this gives me Jalen Reagor vibes, which you saw how that one ended. So he's actually funny. He's on the Minnesota Vikings, or was last year, and he just never panned out. So I'm not saying that Addison is Reagor, but they're pretty close. They're pretty close if you look at these guys. So for me, depending on how you value these guys, I'm not one that values somebody of that size. I'm sorry, I just can't do it. Yeah, Addison is my wide receiver 2 bust this year. Yeah.
All right. Last but not least, we're going to go to the tight end position. And I think this may surprise you all. And again, I'm going back to the 49ers. And it seems kind of weird to even say this, maybe a little blasphemous. But I know we talked about me saying maybe picking someone else. But I think for me, George Kittle. And the only reason I say this is, he had a lot of issues last year with target share. I think it was like 16%, something along those lines, which is not very good for, in general. But especially for a guy who's, considered to be, elite. It used to be Kelsey, Andrews, and Kittle. Yeah. I don't know if it's going to be Andrews, Kelsey, and Kittle anymore. I think Kittle may be in the bottom mid to back end of the tight end 1 category. He got very lucky with tight ends last year, and that kind of bailed him out a little bit as far as his performance and his numbers last year. So I think his numbers last year were a little bit misleading if you're just looking at at a high level of what his numbers were. So for me, with questions at quarterback 2, Purdy, is it Darnold? Is it going to be what's his name?
Trey Lance.
I don't know. I think for me, I'm not saying he's going to be complete bust, but I think he's not going to be one of those like set it and forget it starter. Don't even worry about it. Like we think he has been in the past, similar to Kelsey and Andrews. So for me, it's George Kittle.
I like it. I agree. I think the hype on this cat is done too. I mean, I think he's getting towards the end of his career, so I definitely agree with you on this. Mine, I'm changing it. I did have another guy picked, and just he doesn't really have any competition behind him, so I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to go Dawson Knox. Dawson Knox, I think, gets over. I think the hype train on Kincaid is real. I think Dalton Kincaid takes over Dawson Knox's role. Sorry, guys, if you own Dawson Knox, this train has stopped for me. So I wouldn't even attempt to. I would trade. As soon as I heard the Kincaid news, I was like, oh, it's a wrap. They went and got their Travis Kelce for pretty much Josh Allen. So, yeah, it's Dawson Knox for me. Sad to see because the guy's very talented, and I hope he gets traded to a better situation. Not a better situation for him, a better situation because Dalton Kincaid is taking this job from day one, I think.
All right, that's good. No, I completely agree.
Yeah, man. So, guys, if you haven't, like and subscribe. Get on the DFL, lifestyle. Every Monday and Wednesday, we cut these videos for you guys to enjoy. We're going to be bringing you more and more heat throughout the summer. I hope you guys stay tuned because there's a lot more fun videos to come our way. You got anything before we get out of here, Manny?
No, that's it, man.
Hey, guys, as always, Dynasty Football out.